For some years, I've heard people sing praises to journaling. I've tried to write one page, maybe once a year, and never felt like it was for me. However, this early summer, I've been stuck in some thought loops that were causing me a lot of anxiety, so a few weeks ago I gave journaling an honest try. Writing 3 pages first thing each day, and there is no wrong way to write. Just try to keep the pen moving. That's not always easy, as this has quickly become an activity my cats look forward to just as much as I do. While those thought loops still come, it's helped to have a place to dump them. Once the writing is done, I'm ready to gobble down these oats, and I'm hoping they'll give me some energy for the gym. I have got the unexpected day off today. I was supposed to have a wedding, but just because the venue's booked, it doesn't mean that I am booked, since I'm associate photography. But even though it means I'm missing out on a payday, I would rather take that right now than be out in the heat. I am still going to get some activity in today though, and I am going to the gym. It being later in the afternoon, I'm hoping that it won't be too packed today, or at least at this hour. It usually isn't. It's usually pretty relaxing there right now. I've never really, I've tried to be a morning exercise person, and I just feel so sluggish. I feel like I'm made of cement in the morning, so anytime I've exercised in the morning, it's just never lasted very long. All right, it is leg day, so let's see what I've got in store for me today. This is my workout for the day. It's leg day. So I've got back squats, some deadlifts, thrusts, leg press, a few split squats, oh dear, and a little bit of finishing off with a little bit of ab work and walking. So I left the windows cracked open a little bit because it's hot. Didn't think it was going to rain, and it poured rain, and now it's really foggy and all gross inside here. So let's get some air on and go home and eat. My legs are jelly. So one of the things that I've been liking to eat after a workout is a high-protein yogurt snack. I like to get an unsweetened yogurt. Doesn't matter if it has any protein in it or not, because I'm going to add protein. I just finished one that I liked that was like a coconut cashew base, and I have this one that has, it's by Sigus. I'm not sure if that's the right way to say it, but it's got some sugar added, not very much, but it already has some added protein, so that's just a bonus. Now the protein powder I add is this chocolate pea protein, and I have some blackberries and some figs to add. Believe me, that is quite the treat after a workout. I was thinking of this the whole time I was at the gym. I have been making this supper for a few weeks now. I will admit, once I find something, I just stay with it. So I start with chickpea pasta, or I've gotten lentil pasta before. And about 2 minutes before it's done, I will add some broccoli and bell pepper. And what I top it with is some roasted tofu, and I need to make a new batch of that tonight. For seasoning, I keep things pretty simple. I used to make up the whole marinade every time, and I got tired of doing that, so I found at Whole Foods they just have some marinades ready to go. They taste great. They're pretty low in calories. How long is this pot going to take to boil if we stand here and watch it? For the tofu, I just put the block in whole. I don't break it apart before I put it in the water. So once I add the tofu, I just turn the burner off and let it sit there, coming down in temperature for 15 minutes. Okay, the tofu is done, and I've preheated the oven to 400 degrees. So I'm going to take it out. It's pretty hot. And because it's salted water, what that does is it draws the water out of the tofu. So you might think that it's just going to be waterlogged, but it really has less water in it now than it did when it went in. So just want to pat it a little bit dry on the outside. Instead of slicing the tofu, I'm just going to tear it into rough pieces. Sometimes it can be hot on the inside, so be careful. All right, this is looking good. And now you want to put them into some kind of container, either a bowl, or I like to put them in something that has a lid that has enough room that I can shake them in. And now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the marinade. Now that I've got the liquid added, I'm going to coat it with nutritional yeast and cornstarch. I'm going with 2 scoops of nutritional yeast. And for the cornstarch, I've got an old protein powder scoop, so it looks like about 1/4 of a cup. Then I give that a really good shake. I've tried this with and without oil, and I find that without oil, the texture is just very powdery. So I use just 1 tablespoon of oil for the whole thing. All right, this is ready to go in the oven. I'm gonna spread it out evenly on a pan. If you don't have a nonstick pan, use parchment paper. Don't use aluminum foil, just parchment paper will work fantastically. This pan is nonstick, but I also have a silicone mat lining it. Just very patiently separate each piece. Here is how it looks for baking. And I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees, and it's a convection oven. So if I wasn't using the convection, I would probably put it at 425. And let's do 20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes has passed, and I've also changed the water there, and I'm bringing that back up to temperature. Now I'm gonna flip these and put them in for another 20 minutes. I just use my fingers quickly, and they aren't too hot, they won't burn. My mom called on the phone, so I'm narrating the rest of this. I've brought some fresh salted water to boil, and I'm adding around 3/4 cup of pasta. After that cooks for 10 minutes, I'll add the veggies and cook for 2 minutes. I should have reserved some pasta water before I added the veggies. I forgot, but I grabbed it later. The tofu is done, and I'm heating up 1/2 cup of marinara sauce with probably 2 tablespoons of pasta water and a few scoops of nutritional yeast. I have this tub of gochujang paste sitting around, so I'm adding a teaspoon of that. I like things spicy. I'll add the tofu first and get it thoroughly coated in the sauce. Then I'll add the pasta and veggies. Anyway, here is dinner made. This is comfort food at its finest for me, and I cannot wait to tuck into this. All right, I'll catch you later. Hours are written, breakfast is eaten, tea is drank. It is time to go to the grocery. That sounds like fun because you are coming with me. Don't you want to go? Yeah, you want to go. First stop, as indicated by this coffee-covered horse, is Coffee Times, or I'm going to get some tea. While obviously known for their coffee, Coffee Times has a nice selection of loose leaf tea, and I like to keep my favorite standby teas in stock from here. And here is a look at some of the coffee flavors they have. I think I got my first ever tea mug from here. It is a brutal exercise in willpower every time I look at this display. Oh dear, I really like this round one. They've also got bagged tea if you don't have the setup for loose leaf tea. Got the tea. And one more time, the horse. We have arrived at our next stop, Whole Foods. Gonna get some pasta and some dates and a few other specialty things. I always hit up the chocolate section at Whole Foods. Going to grab a few types of pasta. Look what they've got. Stock up on coconut yogurt and treat myself to some vegan cheese. Tea shopping was a success. I got this green tea, which is Sencha Kyoto Cherry Rose. One of my absolute favorites, Irish breakfast. Darjeeling, which is a pure black tea, not flavored or blended with anything else. And something called Morning Sunshine, which I have never tried before, but it's a flavored black tea. So I think the teas I'm going to leave out are Morning Sunshine and the green tea. I know I've said so many times that summer heat is hard on me. In the evening, I still try to take 10 minutes to walk around the yard and check out what's blooming. My only goal this weekend was to do some drawing, and even though I'm down to the 11th hour, I'm going to get some sketchbook time in while I chat with Mom. I like the idea, but I don't think so. You put it in kind of backwards from what you think it's supposed to be. Put it in with the cut side up. It's Monday evening. Yesterday went so late I was too tired to form a coherent sentence to wrap up my vlog for the weekend. This was the first time I've tried recording any kind of day in my life for 5 years, and it's already exhausting. So there is a thought that I have been having in regards to vlogs and maybe why I want to record them and why I'm glad that people do record their daily lives. A long time ago, not quite that long ago, there is a movie appropriately titled AI. It's a Steven Spielberg film. And my interpretation of the ending was a little bit different. I'm sure some of that movie was going over my head at the time as far as what the ending was really supposed to be about. But I like my interpretation of the end, so that is what I'm sticking with. So in the end, there were these creatures. I thought that they were aliens, but they might have been advanced robots. No humans exist on the Earth anymore. The Earth is just a frozen iceberg. So these aliens are impossibly intelligent. They know the answer to everything, except for one question. And that question is, what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose for their existence? In their quest for that knowledge, they figured that humans, with all of their imagination and creativity and emotions, must have the answer to that question. So they are on a search for these original robots that lived and operated alongside humans. And these robots were constantly recording, just as we humans see. Everything the robots saw, they recorded to a hard drive. It was the goal of these aliens to find the robots and watch all of the recordings to continue to learn more about the humans and in hopes find an answer to that question of the reason for being. All I can think of that we might have the closest equivalent to right now is social media. I think this is the greatest strength of the vloggers out there. The people who want to share their daily boring life. But those people, they have creativity to them. Anyone who's going to try and share their life in a visual form for others to see has some creativity to them. And oftentimes things happen slowly. Life can change suddenly, but more often it changes slowly. At least that's been my experience. So people who vlog for the long haul, that's where the real magic is. What I'm trying to say is if aliens were to come to the planet and all of human existence was gone and they found the YouTube database, that would be the closest thing that right now is recording the human experience. And it's people doing that, putting out all their creativity and putting all their emotions and heart and mind into what they're working on. And if I can add a little bit to that space, a little bit to that experience, I am all for it. And with that, I will raise my tea mug to you and say, keep creating and keep inspiring.